Hi everyone, join me today as I personalize my Fjallraven Kanken backpack. I got this backpack a few years ago while I was studying abroad and never really fell in love with the color and didn't get much use out of it. Here's everything I used to dye it, starting off with boiling some water. I tried a couple of years ago to embroider it in an attempt to like it better and sketched out all these little images I wanted, then realized I didn't really know how to embroider yet and quickly lost all motivation to finish the project, and so it sat in my closet until now. So I started off by ripping out all the old stitching I did, which, mind you, took ages because I made such tiny stitches. Thanks, past me. Here's all the thread scraps that will continue to haunt me until I die, rest in peace. Then go ahead and take out all the stitches on the white logo because we don't want that going into the dye bath. We want that to stay white, so go ahead and toss that aside until later. Boop! I left this little green leaf on because it didn't bother me and would have taken so much effort to remove. So now with our blank canvas, we're going to give our backpack a little wash-a-doodle to get rid of the years of grime and dirt. Make sure you do this step and dye your backpack when it is wet, not dry. Once the water is boiling, get your dye ready. I'm wearing a mask while doing mine because I'm using granules to dye, which can be quite dangerous to breathe in. I didn't really measure any of the dye I was using because I didn't really care what color I got, just that the backpack ended up a darker green overall. So I put all the dye together in one pot, made sure all of it got dissolved and mixed, and then I moved it over to the container I was actually going to dye the backpack in. Leave the backpack in this dye bath for 30 minutes, regularly stirring it and moving it around so the dye doesn't just sit in one area. This helps us to get a more even color tone throughout the backpack. I added a little bit more hot water to mine so it covered more surface area of the backpack and gave me a little bit more wiggle room. So then once this has sat for 30 minutes, you're going to want to give this the best rinse of your life in cold water, making sure to wring it out and that the color runs clear to indicate you've gotten all the dye out. Hang this up to dry overnight. Okay? Here's what mine looked like the next morning. It does look a little different now in person. It's a bit darker, but overall, I really like how it turned out. There was this weird stain on the front where it randomly took on more dye than anywhere else, so I don't really know how that happened, but oh well, no biggie, I can cover that up. The zipper and straps are synthetic, so I knew ahead of time they wouldn't take on the dye. Go ahead and sew your pristine label back on. I hand sewed mine because that was easier for me. Then I went ahead and added some embroidery properly this time because gorgeous girls continue to grow and better themselves. And just in case you were wondering, this did get Kirby's sniff of approval. This is how the embroidery ended up, nice and simple. I really like the contrast of colors between the fabric and the zippers, and overall I actually kind of love how this project turned out. Oh shit, gotta fix that stain. So the easy solution I found was to add a contrasting pocket on top of it, which I hand sewed on, and I really like how it turned out and how simple it was to cover the stain up. Out of sight, out of mind. So yeah, that was my journey, and here's my new and improved backpack. Thanks!